All right. Let's sit down here. Take a look at things. This wheel, this rim, is just like any other motorcycle wheel, except with the spokes and the nuts for the spokes inside. But they give you this. The width of the spokes is way wider than 3/4 of an inch, and these rubber bands they give you to protect the inner tube from those spokes is like 3/4 of an inch wide. It's not wide enough technically. So I went online and I ordered myself another one, thinking that it might be a little bit wider, and it's not. So it's the same width as the one that was on originally. So I'm going to put it on, and then I'm going to wrap both of them with some duct tape, and then we'll put the inner tube in. I don't know if those bolts were a problem with the original inner tube when the pressure got low. Don't know. This is covering them up pretty well actually now. Not too bad. Between the two of them, seem they're doing a halfway decent job. I still think you shouldn't have to use two of them to get the job done. I went looking around on the internet trying to find a wider one, and I didn't have much success. I guess I didn't look in the right place, or I didn't call it the right thing, which sometimes is the big part of it. So yeah, I'm going to throw some duct tape on top of that, and I'm going to put the inner tube in. Maybe I will. Let's see. Stuff always sometimes can be a pain to start. Let's see what I can do here. Some sticky stuff. Come on. There we go. There we go. Get off there. Keep this. Probably somebody's not going to like what I'm doing here. Sorry if you don't, but I just feel better putting something else on top of that. Those nuts and those nuts from the spokes, instead of leaving it exposed for the rubber strip to do the whole job. So. Alright, where's the hole for the tube is right there. So we're gonna poke a hole with the handy dandy pocket knife here. And let's start putting this thing together. Alright. I'm trying to remember how one would do this properly. Unscrew the nut on the stem. I'm going to do this the way that I think it should be done. I'm going to put the tube inside the tire. Oops. Put that back in a second. Let's see here. There's really no front or back, or what you want to call it, directional issues. So let's put that little guy back on. Put this guy through the hole. let's put the retaining nut on it. Get that off pretty far. What I'm gonna do is get this side in first, and then we'll pop the other side in. I probably can get most of this on without having to use any. Probably a little soap would help, but we're gonna use those tire spoons that I have. And we are going to persuade it on with the tire spoon. This I'm going to try to. Big of a bite, maybe. A little bit more, I'll have it on. There we go, one side's on. Alright, so now we gotta get this side on without poking a hole in the inner tube, which shouldn't be too hard to do. Just gotta get the inner tube up inside on the rim so it's not hanging out. There's that pesky air compressor. Trying to show you guys how to do this. Sitting on the ground like an animal. That might be a little better there. Okay. Disc is kind of in the way. We're going to do this. We're going to start putting it on. Let's get this thing on. Inch by inch. Using tire spoons. Working my way around carefully, pushing the inner tube in as and not pinching the inner tube as I'm going. Make sure the inner tube is clear of the spoon. Get it here. Just gotta keep working at it. I know somebody's probably yelling at me right now. You're not doing that right. No, I don't know any way to do it. So. I'm gonna keep doing it this way until we get it on there. Appears to be on. Okay. Hopefully I didn't pinch the tube in that installation. Just trying not to. Let's let me go air this thing up, and I'm gonna see how it did. I'll be back in just a minute. All right. Well, it appears that I did good, and it is aired up. And it is not leaking air as far as I can tell. So we are gonna rotate around here. We're gonna put that thing back on the back of this bike, and I'll say we'll take it out for a ride. All right, let's get this thing mounted up. They do the fun part, ride it, instead of just doing this unfun stuff. Okay, let's see what we got here. Couple half-inch wrenches. Got a 17 and a 19 millimeter. One axle bolt. tensioners. Got spacers. Got nuts. Got a big old washer. And some chain. Chain will be last, of course. Alright, so let's see what we got here. We've got see what we have here. Fortunately, I wasn't paying too much attention, or probably not enough attention, when I took this thing apart. And I think that I think I know where everything goes. I'm gonna find out here in a minute if I do or I don't. I think I got that now. Give it a shot and see what happens. All right. Brake adjusters, or wheel adjusters, or chain adjusters, I would say, more than anything. One axle, one spacer. Let's lift this guy up into. Let's get this. Come on. Alrighty. Let's try to do this. When we built this bike, I had to build the swing arms from scratch. We used a Monster Moto 80. The center frame is from a Monster Moto 80, and everything else is what we added and built to build the bike. I didn't know, it was one of those kind of things where it's like, okay, well, this is going to work. Let's try this. And if that doesn't work, then we'll try that. And by hook or by crook, we got it all figured out. And actually came out pretty good, all things considered. But I've never actually done this type of thing before. Building one like this. A lot of off-the-shelf parts, like the wheels, front forks are pocket bike, basically pocket bike forks. The back wheel, once again, same thing, brakes, all stuff that was ordered off of like Amazon or eBay, combination of the two. Once we decided we were going to do it, we just started shopping and deciding what we wanted, size of wheels and all that type of thing. And little by little, got all the parts bought. Okay, what am I doing wrong here? What am I doing wrong? I'm doing something wrong. It's not liking what I'm doing. I'm using the wrong spacer. Let's try this spacer here. I think that's what it might have been. Let's see here. Like I was saying before, I didn't probably pay close enough attention when I was disassembling this to the parts, exactly where they came from. I should know, I built the thing, but it's been a while since I messed with this, so it's entirely possible to forget a little bit. It seems like that's supposed to go there. I can't remember that being out there, so something's not right here. Let's see here. What I got wrong? Got something wrong here. take a break here, figure this out. I don't bore you guys to death with it. And once I get it figured out, we'll continue on. All right, I finally figured out the order of the washers and spacers and got that back together. It hadn't been a while since I'd taken that all apart, so I didn't want to bore you guys to tears trying to figure it out, because there was a slight bit of aggravation involved too. But they got it. I got it. Got the chain back on, so now I'm going to tension get some tension on the chain. At least I think I am, if I can remember how to do it. There we go. It'll be okay, I swear. Okay. I think if you ever been to one of these races where it's like an endurance race, which this one where I'm getting ready for is coming up on the 18th of May, 2024. It's an endurance race. It's supposed to be 6 hours long, and I think the biggest thing for people is that they don't prep properly, or they don't give their bike enough attention before they go to a race like that, and things start falling off and falling apart and all that type of stuff. So simple things as simple as tie wraps and or cable ties, and tie your wires back and tie your control lines back. Make sure all your nuts and bolts are tight. You know, it's the things that you do anyways most of the time, but you do especially because you're going to go ride for 6 hours straight or 2 hours straight or 180 minutes. That kind of race. And that's a huge part of being able to be relatively competitive, which I kind of lean that way, because I'm not going to drive a couple hours or 10 hours or 12 hours to get to a race just to ride around on a track with people. I want to try to be a little competitive, not embarrass myself too badly. So yeah, a little bit of prep. I'll have to get on some weight on this and see if this train tensions might be right. I might have to adjust it a little bit, but yeah, let's get the cover back on the torque converter. Torque converter alignment, another thing that people don't spend any time on, and they're chewing up belts, and you shouldn't chew up belts unless you're, you know, I mean, I don't know, I never had that problem. Belts wear out, but chewing up a belt is not a normal thing. So it's a lot of times it's the alignment of the pulleys here. People don't take the time to align them right, or get some washers to align things. And I think that's the biggest problem with. As I say, a lot of people go to these races and they're pretty much cannon fodder. They ride a few laps and they break, and then they watch everybody else and wish they could be more competitive, but they don't take the time to set their bike up. So, or they're taking a bike that's not designed to do that type of thing, and just wear it. Or they show up with a worn out bike to start with. So. But anyways, bike prep, that's what it's all about for those kind of races, guys. So hopefully here, I should have a ratchet for this, shouldn't I? Set of a box and wrench. Okay, there we go. All right, so we can take it down off the stand, and we're going to fire this thing up and see how it runs. I haven't ran it in a while. Somebody else was riding it recently here, so let's get that. I'll get it down, and we'll get, well, chain's too tight, so I need to loosen it up a bit. 17 and 19 millimeter. At least on this bike, anyways. Let's see if I can do this. Let's take some of this. Try that, see how that works. That's better. That's better. All right. Tighten everything up, and that should be fine. Also, there's a thing called Loctite, or a thread locker. Loctite's just a brand name. People need to figure out how to use that also, I think. A lot of times they don't. And screws are falling out. All that kind of stuff. There's no reason for that, except for the fact that you just didn't use any. So let's back up here. I got one more thing I gotta fix, guys. I'll take a break here. The recoil is missing 2 screws. So, and I actually have a new recoil, so I'm gonna try to swap that out, and then we're gonna go for a little ride. All right, let's try to get this swapped out here. If you're looking at this going, what kind of engine is that? This is basically a 212 turn vertical. Well, how does it oil itself? That can't work. Blah, 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 on and on and on. Actually, folks, it's real easy to do. And yes, it will oil itself just fine. The crank, when it spins, oh, look at that. Looks like a wee bit broken it is. Interesting. I don't know if I'll be able to use that like that or not. And I don't know if I have another one of those. So, let's see here. Put that down. That is broken. 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 3. Let me see if I can find another one of these in my stuff, and yeah, or snag it off another bike, one or the other. Didn't realize this was broken. But yeah, so vertical will run just fine. The crankshaft passes very close to the bottom to where it sits like this vertically, and it will act as an oil splasher and splash the oil around. We've ran these things not on purpose, but accidentally on very little oil, and they were still running fine. It actually has a tendency to blow the oil out the top here. They do a little better venting on it, the crankcase venting and such, but it runs just fine vertical. I made this intake manifold, made the exhaust. Yeah, nobody can. It works, trust me. So let me go see if I can find this, and we'll be right back. Okay, guys, I'm back. I improvised. I found some longer screws, or some different screws. I used the nut for a spacer because it requires a spacer to get it away from this case here for this new recoil. 3 bolts, 3 nuts for spacers, and she's mounted up. So I had to improvise a little bit, but it's going to work for now. And let me wash up my paws here. and we'll go out and ride this thing. Kind of wraps up putting the inner tube in the back tire of the 24-hour bike. That's what we call this bike, the 24-hour bike, because we built it for the first little minis 24-hour race here in Florida a few years back. Like I said, that frame, that center frame section is a Monster Moto 80 frame that we dissected and modified just a little bit. So if you like this kind of stuff, like, share, subscribe. You can also check out the 24-hour bikes build process on Dirtfoot Racing. It is up there. I documented everything, making the swing arm, the whole 9 yards. So check that out if you're more interested in doing something like this. We made that gas tank out of stainless steel and welded it up. Pretty cool, huh? That thing is super sweet to ride, super comfortable. So yeah, we're getting this ready for this 6-hour endurance race coming up May 18th up in Ocala, Florida. Yeah, so like this kind of stuff, like, share, subscribe. You guys, will talk to you later. See you.